Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss on the topic of training and development. Before we start with what training and development is, the major question that comes to our mind is what is training and development, why we need training, and what is development. Both the things are altogether same or there lies some difference between the two. Today we are going to discuss on all these points to learn more about training and development. So basically, training and development is very important concept of human resource management, which states the need to provide certain sort of skilling to the employees to improve their current performance, to improve the skills that they are carrying, and to make them future ready. Development is also related to the future development of an employee, but if I talk about training, then as per Kirkpatrick, training refers to the teaching of specific knowledge and skills that are required by an individual in their present job. For example, an employee is well efficient in a particular skill A but lacks somewhere in skill set B, but skill set A and B both are required in the present job of an employee. In that case, I need to impart skill set B to the employee that will be covered under the training part of an employee. So, training and development are the two major concepts which goes hand in hand in human resource management. Training defines the need of an employee's skill set which must be imparted to the employee to improve the performance of the employee in the organization, so that the employee must be able to achieve the organizational objectives and contributes in the success of the organization. But if I talk about development, then it deals with the overall development of the employee, which is a very longer process that can be taught to an employee in a single day, that can't be learned by an employee in a single day. It goes every day. Everyday learning will be converted into the development of an employee. The aim of training and development again is to improve the skills of an employee, but if I talk about development, then it will ultimately enhance the overall development of the employee. It will have an impact on the overall personality of the employee. But both are important and needs to be provided to the employee. So what is the difference between training and development? If I talk about training, then it is the process of increasing the knowledge and skills of the employee. But if I talk about development, it is related to the learning and growth of an employee, and which is again a career-oriented process, whereby training is a job-oriented process. That means skills which are being required by an employee during the current job, that is the part of training, but the skills or certain things which an employee learn throughout their job will convert into the development of the employee. Training is a short-term process which is for the fixed duration and which is not goes much longer, but development again is a long-term process and takes place throughout the life of a person. Every day I learn, every day I put that learning into my overall development. That is development of an employee, which is being the part through the managerial help, whereby if I talk about training, that is through the help of supervisors or any person who is the part of the training program will help me to upskill or help me to gain certain skill set. The focus on training is majorly upon the technical skills, whereby in case of development, an employee learn more about the conceptual and human skills. Because we know that if I want to be a good manager, then I must possess all the three types of skills. That may be technical skills, human skills, or conceptual skills. A good manager is developed in the career, reason being he holds good command over the human and conceptual skills along with the technical skills. So why to invest in training and development programs? What pushes an organization to invest such a hefty amount on training and development programs is that if an employee is being trained in the organization, then employees' performance will increase with an exponential rate. The more skills I learn, the more I will put them into my job, and I'll ultimately achieve the goals in a very shorter span of time with more productivity and efficiency. And an employee in an organization always looks for growth. Upskilling is a type of growth which an employee gains over his entire career or entire job span. So it is a part of a job wherein an employee gets some career growth through the help of training, wherein I get to learn certain skills. That means I feel self-sufficient and I'll be able to have more retention in that organization. I'll feel confined and satisfied. And it will ultimately boost the engagement of the employee in the organization. More I'll be satisfied, more I'll be engaged, and I'll be happy to stay and work in that organization. If an organization will provide me an environment which is very satisfied, which is very conducive to work for, which provides me growth and opportunities every day in entire 360 span, then I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied, I'll be more engaged, more productive, and I will never think of leaving that organization on a bad terms or even shifting to some another organization. And moreover, if I say that organization is providing me all such options to me and a work environment is very conducive, in that sense, what could be the outer impact of those things? Like people, I'll be happy to have a good word of mouth for the organization in the outer environment, and I will be able to help others to be the part of the same organization where I am working in. That will be a very good tool to attract the new talent in the organization, new and good talent in the organization. Now the things come, is it that easy to design a training and development framework? We just thought of providing training to the employees, and the next day I'll be having the training mentors and training platform and training modules ready for the employees to train. No, that's not an easy task. It involves a series of steps and considerations to be taken place in order to start with the training program. So how to create an effective training program for the employees? The effective training program framework will look like this. We'll start from the need assessment, like why I need to go with training and development. Learning objectives, what I want to achieve when I'm done with providing training to the employees. Learning style, how my learners are going to learn through the training and development program. How I'm going to impart those designed modules to my employees. That means what could be the delivery mode. How much money is to be invested into the training and development program, that is budget. Then delivery style, how I'm going to impart the training. Audience considerations, who all are going to be the part of my training program. Content development, based upon my audience, I'll decide what sort of content to be given or provided to the employees. Then timelines, how many days I need to provide training to my employees. Then communication of training, after everything is decided, now how my employees will get to know that in this particular time frame or on these particular days, I'll be having my training in the organization. And then last is measuring the effectiveness. When I'm done with imparting training to the employees, at last I'll check whether I'm able to achieve what I decided in the learning objectives part or not. Whether my employees got to learn something or not. That I'll check by measuring the effectiveness of the training framework. Now, first thing comes is the need assessment. What are the organizational needs in terms of training? I'll check the needs in 3 steps. First is the organizational assessment, then occupational assessment and individual assessment. In case of organizational assessment, I'll check or identify what my organization wants from my employees. What all objectives my organization have laid down for the employees, whether my employees have those skills to complete those objectives, or there is certain requirement for the training to the employees. Then next is occupational task assessment. In that case, I'll check or figure out what kind of tasks are to be performed by my employees. Whether my employees have the required and sufficient knowledge to do that task or not. And at last, individual assessment. I'll randomly check what are the skills possessed by an employee and what should be trained, what should be provided to them through the help of training. Then next comes your learning objectives. Learning objectives mean what I want to attain at last I'm done with my training program. What I want to figure out post-training. Learning objectives is what you want the learner to be able to do, explain or demonstrate at the end of the training. That may be in a measurable form, that may be in an observable form. But ultimately, what sort of training is to be provided to the employee will be providing us certain results at the end. That would be our learning objectives. Then comes your learning style. If I say that particular employees have this attitude or personality, these are the part of group A training and others are in group B training. Will that be okay to differentiate people in different training programs? No, because every individual has different ability to learn. Some may learn with the help of audio, some may learn through videos, and some may have learning ability through doing. So we have 3 broad categories of learning styles, that is visual learners, auditory learners or kinesthetic learners. Visual learners are the ones who usually say when they learn something, they have the phrase that they repeat is that, I can see what you hear. I can see what you are saying. In case of auditory learners, they'll show their learning in a way, if I hear you right, that means they are learners through the auditory learners. They learn through something by hearing something. Kinesthetic learners are the ones who learn by doing. So they'll usually say like this, that this is something that feels right. When they do something, they feel learned and they say this is something that feels right. Then there are a number of things that we consider while we are into the training and development program framework, like how the classroom will look like, video classrooms, or it's going to be virtual classrooms, we'll be having the online discussions, how our training will move on. It's going to be 1 day, 2 day, weekly reporting, or it's going to be self-paced. How much interactive e-sessions we can have in our training program. Is it going to be the self-monitored, or it's going to be the instructor-led, or some mobile learnings we may incorporate in our learning. Then comes the delivery mode, how I'm going to deliver the training to the employees. But before I start with deciding how I'm going to deliver the training to the employees, I'll have to focus more upon 2 important parameters. One is audience and one is budget. If I talk about budget, the money, which is a very important parameter in every task which I want to do anywhere. Not only how much money you are going to invest into that training and program, that matters a lot, but also the time of employees which you are going to utilize for the training and development programs also means a lot. Because the timing for which the employees will be trained, how their task is going to be suffered in the organization. That also matters a lot. Then comes your audience. Audience means who are all are going to be the part of your training program. What departments they do work in. For example, if I have all the employees from the finance department, then I can think of providing training to them on certain financial instrument or financial inclusion or any finance topic. But if I have a mixed employees, mixed set of people for my training and development program, in that case, I have to think upon which particular topic I should choose in order to provide efficient training to the employees. Then comes your delivery style. What is the best style to deliver the training program to the employees? Are people sufficient with the PowerPoint presentation? Do they want certain sort of audio and video skills, visual skills to the training program, to be the part of training program? Or sometimes what instructors do is that to make the training program more interactive, what the people do is they insert certain sort of icebreakers to their training sessions. They insert certain podcasts, certain role plays, management games to just make people aligned with the training program to increase their engagement to the training program. Now comes what? Content development. Once everything is decided, what sort of content is to be delivered to the employees, that is very important, and that should be mapped with your learning objectives, because learning objectives are something that you are going to check at last. Your effectiveness measurement is entirely dependent upon the learning objectives, and once your content is being mapped with the learning objectives, that would be bit easier for you to measure the effectiveness of the training program. And not only measuring the effectiveness, but what matters is that you'll be able to get the good results out of that. And the next thing comes is for how long your training will go. That means timelines. Whether on every Monday I'll be having the training for my employees, on Mondays and Tuesdays. Sometimes some organizations feel that Mondays and Fridays are bit hectic for the employees because they have to accomplish number of tasks on these 2 days. So we can arrange training for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this is something that I will decide on situational basis. Now next consideration is how you are going to communicate the available training to the employees. So if I communicate to the manager or staff or anyone who will be involved in the training program, will they be able to join? Will they be having the entire schedule for the training program? That also matters a lot. Then is measuring the effectiveness of the training. What all is being trained or provided to the employees through the help of training. What is the final outcome of the training to the employees? That can be measured with the help of a Kirkpatrick's model which was developed in the year of 1950s, that has 4 levels, namely reaction, learning, behavior and results. How did your participants react to the training? What sort of improvement do you feel that employees have in their knowledge and skills? Is there any change in the behavior of the employees post-training? And what all are the benefits that are being received by the organization with the help of training? So this is how we will check like whether imparting training to the employees was successful or not. This is very important step in training and development program framework, because if our learning objectives are being mapped with the effectiveness, then we can say that we have a successful training and development program in the organization. Thanks a lot.